The desperate embassy. The orbital diplomatic station, Unity Point, had never seemed so small to diplomat Nisha Kapoor as she watched the alien vessel dock. Its crystalline structure pulsed with fading light, evidence of battle damage that no amount of emergency repairs could fully conceal. The Zircon delegation had arrived barely ahead of their distress signal. "They're requesting immediate audience," her assistant Thomas whispered, the holographic display before him showing multiple urgent communication requests. "Protocol suggests we should wait for the full Security Council to assemble, but they wouldn't have come in a damaged ship if this could wait," Nisha finished, smoothing her formal blue diplomatic uniform. "Inform the Council we're proceeding under Emergency Provision Delta. Record everything." The airlock cycled open to reveal 3 Zircons, tall, luminescent beings whose silicon-based bodies caught and refracted light in mesmerizing patterns. The lead delegate's right side was noticeably dimmer, crystalline fractures visible along what humans had learned was their equivalent of a shoulder. "Ambassador Luminar," Nisha bowed slightly, using the translation device at her throat. "Unity Point welcomes you, though we regret the circumstances appear urgent." The lead Zircon's surface rippled in what Nisha recognized as their expression of extreme distress. "Diplomat Kapoor, formalities must be abbreviated. The Void Dominion has broken the Galactic Compact. 3 of our outer colonies have fallen. They show no restraint, civilian populations have been harvested for their neural energy." Thomas flinched beside her, but Nisha maintained her diplomatic composure. 6 years as Earth's senior representative to the Galactic Alliance had prepared her for crisis, if not for this specific nightmare. "Please, follow me to the secure conference chamber," she said, guiding them through corridors where human and alien staff watched with poorly concealed concern. Inside the chamber, Ambassador Luminar connected directly to the holographic systems. Immediately, the room filled with images that turned Nisha's stomach: crystal cities shattered, Zircon civilians corralled into processing facilities where their living energy was systematically drained. The Dominion had remained dormant for centuries, Luminar explained, his voice translated into a resonant baritone by the system. "We believed the stories of their consumption to be historical exaggeration. We were wrong. You have the Alliance's forces," Nisha pointed out. "The combined fleets of 16 species have failed," interrupted another Zircon, whose identification marker named her as Defense Coordinator Prisma. "The Alliance vessels are built for peacekeeping, not warfare. The Dominion ships are living weapons, adapted from beings they've consumed across millennia." The third Zircon, Science Director Facet, stepped forward. "We have analyzed all species in the Alliance. Only one has the particular combination of attributes required to stand against this threat." The holographic display shifted to show human military installations, training facilities, and historical battle recreations. "You've studied us," Nisha observed, something cold settling in her stomach. "Extensively," Luminar confirmed. "Your species fascinates and terrifies many in the Alliance. You train continuously for combat despite living in peace. You simulate warfare as entertainment. Your military doctrines contain concepts that most species find abhorrent, yet you've never used these capabilities against other spacefaring races." Nisha picked her words carefully. "Humanity understands violence intimately. Because we understand it, we choose to control it rather than unleash it. That," Prisma said, her crystalline form brightening slightly, "is precisely why we've come to Earth directly. The Alliance Council debates while our worlds fall. We need a species that comprehends warfare, not merely as theoretical construct but as practical reality." Thomas couldn't contain himself. "You want us to fight your war? After the Alliance spent decades restricting human military expansion beyond our solar system?" Luminar's form dimmed in what Nisha recognized as their version of shame. "The restrictions were implemented based on fear. We observed your entertainment, your combat sports, your military exercises, and drew conclusions without context. We failed to understand that a species capable of violence might choose peace not from weakness but from wisdom." The images shifted again, showing the Void Dominion's ships, massive, organic-looking vessels that seemed to pulse with stolen life energy. Their weapons didn't merely destroy, they consumed. "What exactly are you requesting?" Nisha asked, though she already knew. "Earth's intervention," Luminar stated simply. "Not merely your ships or weapons, though they exceed Alliance standards, but your understanding of warfare. The Dominion exploits predictable responses, feeds on fear, manipulates empathy. They've never encountered humans." Nisha studied the images, the brutal efficiency of the Dominion's harvest worlds. "I'll need to present this to our Defense Council. General Reynolds will have questions about Dominion tactics, vulnerabilities." "We anticipated this," Facet interjected, producing a crystalline data core. "This contains everything we know about their biology, ship configurations, and battle patterns. We can transmit directly to your systems." Nisha nodded to Thomas, who established the secure connection. As the data transferred, the diplomat watched the concern on her assistant's face deepen. "There's something you should know," Luminar said, his voice lowering. "The Dominion assimilates biological and technological advantages from those they conquer. They learn rapidly. If they reach Earth, they would gain our understanding of warfare," Nisha finished. "The very quality you're hoping will save you." "Precisely," Luminar's form pulsed in agreement. "The Alliance limited human military expansion because they feared what you might become. Now we fear what the Dominion would become if they absorbed your species." The diplomatic station shuddered slightly as another ship docked, an Earth military vessel responding to the emergency codes Nisha had triggered. "Ambassador," she said formally, "I cannot guarantee Earth's response, but I will ensure your request receives immediate consideration at the highest levels. Until then, we offer sanctuary and medical assistance for your wounded." Luminar's crystalline form brightened in the zircon expression of gratitude. "Thank you, Diplomat Kapoor. The Alliance was wrong about humanity. We feared your capacity for violence without understanding your equal capacity for restraint. Perhaps that balance is exactly what the galaxy needs now." As the Marine escorts entered the chamber, Nisha gazed at the horrific images still floating in holographic display. Humanity had maintained peace for decades, limiting its military to defensive operations within the solar system. Now the stars themselves seemed to be calling them to war. "Thomas," she said quietly as they prepared to escort the delegation to the military transport, "contact General Reynolds and the Defense Council. Tell them to prepare for an emergency session." "Will they agree to help?" Thomas asked. Nisha watched the injured Zircons being carefully assisted by human medics, already adapting their techniques to alien physiology. "The Dominion has made a critical error," she replied. "They've threatened a peaceful species while Earth stands by. They're about to learn why the Alliance was right to fear us, and wrong to restrict us." Part 2, War Council Wisdom. The United Earth Defense Council chamber was designed to impress, a circular amphitheater with walls of polished lunar basalt, illuminated by the soft glow of holographic displays. General Marcus Reynolds stood at the center, his weathered face grave as he studied the zircon data playing across multiple screens. 40 years of military service had left him with a perpetual furrow between his brows, deepened now by what he was seeing. "The Void Dominion employs biological warfare on a scale we've never encountered," he announced to the assembled council members and the Zircon delegation. "They don't merely destroy opponents, they consume and assimilate them." Defense Minister Okafor leaned forward, her elegant hands steepled beneath her chin. "General, give us your assessment. Can we offer meaningful assistance against this threat?" Reynolds gestured, and the main display showed tactical simulations based on the Zircon data. "The Dominion relies on overwhelming force and psychological warfare. They expect their opponents to either flee in terror or charge blindly in righteous outrage. Either reaction plays into their hands." Ambassador Luminar's crystalline body flickered with anxiety. "Our forces attempted defensive formations as trained by Alliance protocols. The Dominion adapted within hours, predicting our responses." "That's because you're fighting by rules they've seen before," Reynolds said, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had studied warfare his entire life. "Show me your combat training protocols." The Zircon Science Director Facet transmitted the data, which appeared as orderly formations and standardized response patterns. Reynolds nodded slowly, understanding dawning. "Your military trains to follow precise procedures. That makes you predictable." He switched the display to show human military exercises. "We train our forces to think creatively, to adapt, to improvise when standard protocols fail." The Council watched footage of human special forces training, squads adapting to rapidly changing scenarios, individuals making split-second decisions when communications failed, teams reorganizing immediately when leaders were taken out of simulations. "Humanity doesn't just practice warfare," Reynolds continued. "We study it. We analyze it. We understand violence not as a first option but as a controlled application of force, used precisely when and where needed." Admiral Kwame of the Space Fleet frowned. "General, we've maintained a defensive posture for decades. Our forces haven't engaged in actual combat since the Mars insurgency. Are we prepared for an offensive operation of this scale?" Reynolds smiled thinly. "Admiral, that defensive posture never meant we stopped preparing for war. The Alliance may have restricted our military expansion beyond Seoul, but they never restricted our training, our development, our understanding." He brought up new tactical displays showing Earth's hidden strength, advanced stealth vessels, precision weapons systems, and combat doctrines that balanced overwhelming force with surgical precision. "The Dominion expects opponents who either cower or rage," Reynolds explained. "We'll give them neither. We'll give them calculated, controlled response, overwhelming when necessary, restrained when possible." Defense Minister Okafor studied the Zircon representatives. "Our intervention would alter Earth's relationship with the Alliance permanently. The restrictions placed on human military expansion were part of our admission agreement. The agreement is already nullified," Diplomat Kapoor interjected, standing from her observer position at the edge of the chamber. "Article 17 explicitly states that Alliance species may request human military assistance in case of existential threat. The Zircons have formally made such a request." Ambassador Luminar's form brightened. "We did not come lightly to Earth. Our analyses show that humanity possesses unique qualities the Dominion has never encountered, a species that understands violence intimately yet chooses when to apply it." Science Director Facet projected new data. "The Dominion assimilates biological and technological advantages from conquered species. They've never encountered humans. Your neurological structure, your psychological approach to conflict, these would be entirely new variables." Reynolds nodded. "They've been fighting predictable opponents. We'll show them something they've never seen." "And what exactly would that be, General?" asked the economic advisor, his voice tinged with concern over the potential costs. "Controlled ferocity," Reynolds replied, his eyes never leaving the tactical displays. "Most species either reject violence entirely or embrace it without restraint. Humanity has chosen a different path. We understand it, master it, control it, and apply it with precision." He brought up battle simulations showing human tactics against Dominion forces. "We won't just fight their ships. We'll attack their assumptions. They expect fear or rage, we'll give them calculation. They expect either retreat or foolish heroics, we'll give them strategic flexibility. They expect predictable patterns, we'll give them constant adaptation." Admiral Kwame studied the simulations with growing interest. "You're suggesting we deploy the Artemis battle groups?" "All 7 of them," Reynolds confirmed. "Plus the Special Forces units from the Ares program." A murmur ran through the Council. The Artemis and Ares programs were Earth's most closely guarded military developments, defensive in purpose but with offensive capabilities that exceeded anything the Alliance had seen from humanity. "We've spent centuries perfecting the art of controlled conflict," Reynolds continued. "The Dominion has never faced an opponent who understands violence as we do. They've never encountered a species that trains endlessly for war precisely to avoid it, but is fully prepared when it becomes necessary. Defense Minister Okafor's expression remained grave. What of civilian populations in the conflict zones? The Alliance will be watching how we conduct ourselves. We'll demonstrate that humanity's approach to warfare includes protection of non-combatants, Reynolds replied firmly. Every battle group will deploy with humanitarian vessels. Every strike will be calculated to minimize civilian casualties. We won't just show the Dominion our strength, we'll show the galaxy our restraint. Ambassador Luminar's crystalline form pulsed with what humans had learned was their expression of hope. Then you will help us? Reynolds turned to face the Council. The question isn't whether we should intervene. If the Dominion continues unchecked, they'll eventually reach our borders. The question is whether we wait until we're fighting for our own survival, or act now while we can still choose the terms of engagement. The chamber fell silent as Council members exchanged glances, weighing centuries of peaceful diplomacy against the harsh realities displayed on their screens. We need to vote, Defense Minister Okafor said finally. This would be the first deployment of Earth's full military capability beyond our solar system since joining the Alliance. The vote took less than a minute, unanimous approval. Reynolds nodded grimly. I'll coordinate with Admiral Kwame to prepare the fleet. Science Director Facet, we'll need all intelligence on Dominion neurological structures. I want to know if our non-lethal technologies will be effective. As the Council dispersed to prepare for war, Diplomat Kapoor approached the Zircon delegation. Ambassador Luminar, please understand what you've unleashed today. Humanity has walked a careful path, maintaining our understanding of warfare while choosing peace. Now that we step off that path, the galaxy will see what we've kept contained. Luminar's form dimmed slightly. We understand, Diplomat. The Alliance feared humanity's potential for violence. Now we're counting on it. Not just our violence, Reynolds corrected as he joined them. Our discipline. Our precision. Our understanding that true power isn't found in unlimited destruction, but in knowing exactly when and how to apply force. He paused, studying the tactical displays one last time. The Dominion is about to learn that the most dangerous opponent isn't the one who fights without restraint, it's the one who chooses restraint, until they choose not to.